Hello there! Traffic lights in City Skylines appear quite simple. They are, however, an intricate piece of game design and on one hand allow high traffic flow and on the other hand ease of use through a number of hidden tricks and features. Here's how the devs actually make it work. Okay, wait, sorry, before we jump in game, let's look at real-life traffic lights first. The most basic setup of a four-way intersection with a traffic light runs on a simple timer. Either one direction or two directions opposite of each other have a green light for a set amount of time while all other lights are red. In the in-between phase, the green light will switch to yellow so vehicles and pedestrians can clear the intersection. Then the lights will switch to red while the other side or sides will switch to green. In this simple form, a four-way intersection thus has two phases and one in-between phase running on a set timer. A full cycle at a small four-way intersection usually is around 60 seconds long. When we now jump in-game, we will see some weird behavior in the unmodded vanilla game. The game does simulate red and green traffic lights, and even yellow lights are simulated, and traffic reacts accordingly. When there is little traffic, however, it appears as if all vehicles always have a green light, and even if they don't, they barely have to wait for it to turn green. In real life, usually some of the drivers should be unlucky and catch a red light and wait at the intersection. Are the timers just much shorter in game? Having observed the traffic lights in game for a while, I can answer this with a definitive no, they aren't shorter. The traffic lights in City Skylines just don't run on timers. Instead, they are so-called actuated signals. Now, from a game design standpoint, this prevents players from having to focus on every single intersection and keeps traffic flow a little higher. And honestly, isn't traffic flow secretly what City Skylines is all about? Okay, now let me briefly explain actuated signals. It means that the traffic lights adapt their cycles to the vehicles on the road. Imagine the following situation in real life. It's the middle of the night and you're waiting at a red light. No other cars are approaching from other directions. Because the traffic lights runs at a simple timer, you have to wait for your light to turn green even though the intersection is completely clear. In contrast, an actuated traffic light would detect your car and also detect that no other cars are coming from other directions. You would then get a green light. Maybe you won't even have to stop and the light turns green in advance. Here's an example of an actuated or adaptive traffic light for bicycles. As there's no car turning right into the bike lane, both lights turn green for the cyclists so they don't have to stop. Now let's again jump back in-game and dive deeper into City Skylines' actuated traffic lights. In real life, actuated traffic lights detect vehicles through cameras or radars, or most commonly through inductive loops on the asphalt. In-game roads work through nodes and segments. When you drag a long stretch of road, the game will split it up into so-called segments in regular intervals. This split is invisible. At the end of each segment is a node. In-game vehicles can only change directions on these nodes, either in form of an intersection or through a lane change on multi-lane roads. We can make segments and nodes visible by upgrading a part of our road with another type. The upgraded stretch of road is a segment, and the transition from one type to another type of road, usually where you can see the crosswalks, is the node. Now, why do we need to know this? This has two reasons. Reason 1, red, green and yellow lights are detected by driving vehicles once they are on the last segment in front of an intersection. They don't detect lights at all times. This is a game design choice to save on performance. When passing the segment in front of the intersection, the vehicle will then keep going on a green light, stop at a red light, and decide to brake or keep going depending on speed and brake power when the light is yellow. Depending on how close two nodes are, a vehicle might not be able to brake in time on that segment and blow through a red light. Due to the short in-between phase / yellow phase in-game and fast acceleration of the vehicles from other sides will by then have already entered the intersection. Well, good thing car crashes aren't the thing in City Skylines. Alright, now reason number 2. The actuated traffic lights do a calculation comparing the number of stopped cars to the number of driving cars on the segments in front of the intersection. If the number of stopped cars on one segment is the largest compared to the other segments, the traffic light will turn green for that side. These are quite complex calculations and they're done at every single traffic light in your city. Concluding, we can say the game has a very robust underlying simulation of traffic lights and vehicle behaviors, though slightly limited by the performance of PCs in 2015 at game release. We could even dig deeper and tweak traffic light behavior, and even create custom rule sets for turn lanes thanks to the Traffic Manager mod, all based on the underlying vanilla traffic light simulation. There have been better tutorial makers than me explaining this though, thus I have linked videos by Yumble and Acros in the video description below. Also, you can watch me build complex intersections with custom traffic light cycles over at twitch.tv/ertreer. For more City Skylines vs real life comparisons, check out the playlist shown here. To learn more about the current city I am building, check out this narrated cinematic video. Thanks for watching.